Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, we are talking about future leaks, so stuff which isn't necessarily coming into the next major update, but stuff that is being tested and worked on for the future. So this is generally mechanics and ideas that are going to turn up, and there's a lot of things here that I know a lot of people have been asking for many years, and also trying to work out how to add into the game. It's to do with some pretty fun planes and also some ammunition and munitions that they may get in the future. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe, and let's get into it. Before we get into the meat and gravy of the video, I just wanted to show you two cool things that are in War Thunder right now, which haven't really been reported. So the first one is right now in the holiday section, there is a full of Monte Castello little kind of holiday to do, and it seems to be a historical one. All you got to do is play 3 battles using America, and you can get yourself either some backups, SL, and boosters this weekend, which is pretty cool. The other part of it, which is awesome, is when it comes to the sales which are going on right now, the packs which you can get in the bundles for 50% off, which have access to stuff like the KV-1E and also Friends, they have a ton of GE in them, especially the KV-1E pack. I think you can get like 7,000 GE, which is very much worth it. Even the vehicles themselves, basically it makes more sense to buy the pack instead of to actually just buy GE. The GE technically actually surpasses the price of the pack itself. So if you want to pick it up, you really should, because it's in a fantastic position in that way. Anyway, let's get into the video. Now, the first set of the long-term leaks is something that I find astounding and will be amazed if it ever actually turns up in at least the way that I think it would be. This is, of course, strategic bombers, the large boys, you know, stuff like the B-52, stuff like, of course, the Bear, and also even things like the V-bombers. These large machines which have massive payloads, which are designed to fly high or even sometimes fly low, hit the target, and get away safely. When it comes to them, it's always been a topic of conversation of adding them in. Obviously, the expense of these things is quite high, but also their actual use in general game modes has not always been one which makes a lot of sense. And according to the leaks, the strategic bombing mode is being tested, meaning that they are trying to implement them and trying to get them in the game, but maybe in a slightly different way compared to everything else. Also, strategic bombers themselves are being worked on, either as a new page or a new line to grind in their specific tech trees. So, it looks like we're going to get the big boys. Now, one of the problems with this is a lot of nations just don't have their big boys. Like, the big boys just don't exist. That's one of the problems. So, they're going to be limited to very specific nations, which has been an issue with the idea of actually adding them in the past. Like, how do you add them in a way where it would be fair and balanced? But if you put them in their own game mode and basically have more of a, I suppose, a mission-based PvE kind of idea, then of course the strategic bombers could work. One of the things I always would have really liked when it comes to War Thunder is something which is more designed around kind of PvE content for planes. I always enjoyed back in the day playing a lot of very old games, which were just really fun to kind of play against the computer, and like Battle Britain games and stuff like that, which were just really, really fun. And I'm hoping that War Thunder can kind of simulate that more in the modern day with more modern equipment. So I really hope this works. I really hope they can get some strategic bombers in and actually be one of the only games out there which simulates this properly. We also have a vehicle that is supposed to be a future event vehicle. This is the YAH-56A, and it's the Cheyenne. This one was actually leaked a while ago, at least the model for it was leaked many years ago. And this kind of shows how far in the future Gaijin is looking for these specific things. But this actually ended up in that big dev server leak from, I think it was like 2020 maybe, or even 2019, where there was just a ton of models that just turned up and were leaked. The Cheyenne is something that kind of lost out basically to the Apache because they wanted to create kind of an advanced attack helicopter. So that's what they went with. We've talked about the Cheyenne in the past. It's got a very unique design. It's got the upside down tail, which is always fun. Or I shouldn't say upside down, but like, you know what I mean. It's one of those which is different from the norm. But also at the same time, it has a very large single engine that powers the thing, and then also has access to all the standard weapons of the time, such as the tow missiles, some rockets, and also the good old grenade launcher, or the 30mm in the front. But this vehicle is really cool. It's another American vehicle and would actually be the second helicopter event vehicle that we've had in the game. If you didn't know, there was actually another event vehicle in the game, and that was a helicopter, and it's the H-34, which is at 7.7, and it's funny because it's a H-34 that has access to a bullpup, of all things, which it can use. It also has 1 million rockets that are set up in a very odd way, plus a bunch of guns if you want to bring those too, but mainly people use it for the bullpup to have a bit of fun. But the Cheyenne is one of those I know a lot of people have wanted for the longest time, and at least we know that it's going to be here soon. Another thing that they are testing are multi-vehicle SAMs, so probably the idea of how are you going to be able to control them. If you didn't know, in the modern day, a lot of SAM systems don't require just one vehicle. They usually have maybe 2 or maybe 3. Normally, one system is just the kind of search and then the radar system, and then the other one is the platform which has access to the munitions. Now, sometimes there's even 3 vehicle kind of SAM systems where you have kind of a command vehicle, and then you have the radar vehicle, and then you have the actual missile platform. Now, some of these in-game that we have at the high tiers are some which have been kind of put into a single system, which is pretty fun, but some obviously lack that idea, so therefore they can't really be added into the game right now. And since Gaijin wants to add them in as realistically as possible, they've got to figure out a way of making it so you can actually control multiple vehicles at the same time, but also not be kind of overpowered, because you could just hide them in different places and also maybe capture multiple zones at the same time if you're at the end of a battle. I know that's kind of like an extreme case, but it's something that could work pretty effectively. So we'll have to see what goes on with this. Obviously, this opens up the world of War Thunder to many other different systems that they can add in at the highest echelon, and many that could actually be really fun. I don't think they're going to make it so like one person controls one vehicle and another person controls another vehicle. I know there's a lot of people who enjoy the multi-crew idea, but unfortunately there's just a lot of development time that has to go into something like that and not enough interest. So I think it'll be more of a system of where people will, the same person will control all the vehicles and just swap between them like a quick switch, very similar to what you do with hydroplanes or drones when it comes to ground vehicles. We also have more news about the harms and the arms which are being worked on. As you know, when it comes to War Thunder, they're constantly trying to increase the amount of different mechanics and missiles that are in the game. And one of the things that so far hasn't turned up is the anti-radiation missiles. The harm specifically being the high-speed anti-radiation missile, and the arm being the anti-radiation missile. These are usually referred to when it comes to America. You have stuff like the AGM-45 Shrike, which could be mounted on like A7s. You have the AGM-78 Standard, which was a further development of it. And then you have the Harm, which is the AGM-88. This one is the one that many people look forward to and generally are quite good. These are anti-radar missiles in the way that what they do is they home in on radar emissions. So you sling the vehicle seeks a radar emission set, and then it will home in on it and hammer down. This is very much something that could be incredibly powerful, But also, the other thing is how powerful the Seeker head itself is. The problem with stuff like the AGM-45 Shrike, at least according to Gaijin in the past, is they were more designed to go after larger radar systems and not the specific ones that we have in ground forces. But now that they've added in more AI radar systems, there is no reason why they couldn't start adding in this technology. With War Thunder, of course, you still have like the next stage of active radar homing missiles they could add, the next stage of IR missiles, and also there are some semi-actives they could add, and even they might turn up and maybe add the AIM-4, which would be hilarious. But the fact is, no anti-radiation stuff has turned up yet, and I think eventually it will, because, as I said, they just have this idea of constant expansion and constant ideas. Once they actually get announced and we can start having a look at them, then it'll be interesting to go through them. But right now, just understand, they're being worked on. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the background of War Thunder. That's mainly also just kind of ground stuff, and that's it. So we'll have to see what goes on. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shea, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.